This is the Shaver Prep Football Podcast, episode 18, presented by Aquarius Home Services and brought to you by TruStone Financial and Culvers. And I'll name our Culvers Player of the Week in just a few minutes. And also in just a few minutes, I'll announce our Talk North AllState football team for 2024. But first, the high school football season is over in Minnesota, with 7 state champions crowned following Prep Bowl wins at US Bank Stadium over the weekend. Big crowds, great venue, great event as always, and great performances. Our Talk North Walk the Talk winner from the Prep Bowl is Minnesota senior running back Ryan Meagher. 22 carries, 290 yards rushing, and 6 touchdowns, a new Prep Bowl record, breaking his own Prep Bowl mark of 5 TDs in last year's state title game. Well, Ryan Meagher had a day to remember on Friday, 6 rushing touchdowns in the Prep Bowl and a 70-20 win over Springfield. And Ryan joins me. Congratulations on a big day. Did it feel as good as it looked?
Yeah, it felt great. Especially being our third one in a row as a team. It was definitely a memory to remember forever.
Was there something that was working on Friday? Was there a certain play, or were your linemen just in tune the entire game for you?
I think our linemen were just into it the entire game. We had some formations that we were running that were working a little bit better, but for the most part, we ran a lot of different formations, and everything was working out of all of them.
So the 290 yards rushing was a season high for you. And we talked earlier this year about how because you guys were winning in such big fashion, that you weren't playing full games. You really didn't play a full game in the state title game either, because you had 6 touchdowns in the first half and the game was pretty much over. But I mean, how would you sum up this season, your senior year? How would you describe this year for you?
It's been good. We went into the season knowing that we were going to have a good team again, and a tough section, hard to get out of section.
Yep.
But yeah, it's been a great season. Nothing to complain about, and it's been great being with this group of seniors.
So let's put these numbers out there for Ryan. You had 40 touchdowns rushing this year. You had 40 touchdowns rushing last year, 80 touchdowns in 2 seasons. If somebody would have told you your sophomore year that you were going to have 80 touchdowns over the next 2 years, what would you have said to that person?
I would not have believed them. I would never have guessed that this was going to happen.
Why is that?
I don't know. I guess I don't think ahead like that often. Just focus on what's happening currently. I just don't look ahead too much and don't worry about everything that's going to happen.
Well, not only is it a great accomplishment as an individual, but as you said, your team has won 3 consecutive Class A state titles. Talk about that sense of accomplishment. What does that feel like for you as a senior, for your group, knowing that you have done something that very few teams in the state of Minnesota have ever done?
Yeah. Our freshman year, actually, we made it to the state championship and ended up losing to Maher Lutheran. And then the next year, we ended up winning to Springfield, and then obviously the next 3 years after that. But after losing, everybody remembered that feeling, and they all wanted to come back and win it the next year. And then I think that just kind of stuck with the group of seniors that we have this year, that we knew what it felt like in it, and we wanted to keep winning. We wanted to keep coming back and winning. So I think that's kind of what did it for us.
So on the other side of that too is you've now set up the next group to try to follow you guys. Talk a little bit about that, because for folks that don't know, Minnesota's now won 33 consecutive football games heading into next season. That's a little bit of pressure on that next group that's coming behind you. Do you think they're ready?
Yeah, it's a little bit of pressure, but they're always ready. I think the coaches will do a great job preparing them for everything that they'll see next year. And the junior class this year is going to be able to turn the team into a very solid team next year too. So I have no worries about that.
Patrick Royce wrote an outstanding article for the Minnesota Star Tribune about Minnesota football. And the line was involvement leads to high achievement. Talk about that philosophy at Minnesota and how that has, uh, how you've been able to capitalize on that and have such success.
Yeah, I think it ultimately comes down to the community, the teams, all of the players from all the teams. They want to be at each other's events, watching each other. The coaches always do a great job letting people be together, doing things that'll include everybody, teammates, everything. And I think just how it's been for the past couple of years, everybody just wants to keep excelling in what they do, and I think that just drives everybody to keep doing what we are doing.
Did you have a chance on Friday to soak in the moment? Did you have a chance to kind of just let it, to feel it, before you walked off the turf at US Bank?
Yeah, at the end of the game, coach put all the seniors on the field, and then called a timeout, and we all came off. And I think there was about 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So after that, we could. Yep,
Yeah. What did that feel like?
it was great, great to great to be able to talk to people and sit there and watch, like you said, soak up the moment with the seniors around me.
Ryan, what do you think your legacy will be at Minnesota? When they talk about you 10 years from now, what do you think they'll say about Ryan Maher and the job that he did as part of that incredible group of players that won three consecutive state titles?
Yeah, I hope it's all good things. I
I
know
would
there's a
think
lot
it
of
is.
I know there's a lot of younger kids that look up to us older kids, so I think that'll have an effect on a lot of the younger football players. So I hope they can look up to me and want to be like me. I really hope they can be.
Well, congratulations on an incredible career, over 4,800 yards rushing, 90 touchdowns in your career. And of course, the most important thing is three consecutive state championships won by Minnesota football. Ryan, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
When I met Jeff, the owner of Aquarius Home Services, I got it. He started the business in 1987 with one goal in mind: great customer service every single time. It's not a buzz phrase. Customer service is at the heart of Aquarius Home Services. I'm a customer. I see it, I feel it, and trust me, you will too. Cooling, heating, water treatment, plumbing, electrical, and more. Aquarius Home Services, earning the right to be recommended. Well, what a contrast in winning head coaches from class 4A to class 6A. Adam Spurl, in his first year as head coach of Maple Grove, leads his team to a 13-0 record and the state 6A title. And Dwight Lundeen, in his 55th season as head coach of Becker, leads the Bulldogs to the 4A state championship. And I talked with both, starting with Coach Lundeen. Well, Dwight Lundeen wins the 4A state football championship, his fourth as a head coach, 55 years as a head coach. Did this one feel as good as the other three?
It really, really feels good. It does. As good, I don't know. We were in a little drought there, we were in the Prep Bowl 6 years in a row and hadn't won it. And when we finally got the monkey off our back, it was a great relief, but back in 2006. But it was wonderful. It was a great thing for our team, our school, and our community. That's for sure.
Talk about the win over Totino Grace, because they're a good football team. They're very physical. How would you describe how that game turned out?
Yeah, we were excited about playing them for a number of reasons. They've been up in 6A. They have
Yep.
a great coaching staff. They know how to prepare for a game. You don't last in that 6A and not know what you're doing. And we thought, hey, they're going to take things away. They're not going to allow us to do this. They're not going to allow us to do that. Um, it was a very, very competitive situation. I thought they were 12-0. We were 12-0. We went into the game really looking forward to a great challenge, and it was. They had a lot of great players. We had a couple of our main guys make some great plays. Number 12 made a beautiful run, 30 yards or so, broke a couple tackles. And then it kind of got our stuff going. Then number 10 made a great run. He ran about 100 yards to go 50 to score the second. And then we got a pick six. So those are three kind of big plays that made the game going our way. But other than that, it was a fight. I mean, they were physical, they were well coached, they were great players. I mean, I thought the demeanor of both teams on the field was outstanding. It couldn't have been better. They would just blast us, and then they'd help us get up off of the field, and we'd turn around and tackle them and help them get up. And it was what high school football should be.
You've always talked about the speed of this team this year, and I think we saw that again on Friday. The speed of your football team was really a difference maker all year long.
Yes, it was. Like you say, 55 years of doing it and kind of comparing teams. I would say this is the most speed that we've been blessed with. And well, it's a gift. I mean, it's hard to coach speed. It's a gift. And we had athletes that were gifted with speed, and defensively and offensively, it was a weapon all year.
Your seniors, Dwight, talk about them because obviously a head coach doesn't achieve the things that you've achieved unless a senior class leads the way. Talk about your seniors.
Some of these guys were the seniors. There was 25 of them that finished the season with us, and that was a great group. They all really embraced their role. Some were blockers, some were special teams guys. They got on the field. They were never worried about who got the accolades about the game. But from the time they dressed as ninth graders, we were 41-4 over 4 years.
Wow.
With one state championship, and we were close a couple times. And it was that one thing, and you've been around sports long enough, that will to win was just so evident with this group that they were going to find a way. Even though I'm not the biggest, strongest, fastest guy on the field, I'm going to find a way to win this game. And that is a great thing to have with these young men. And they were great. They're three sport athletes. They're going to go right into wrestling and basketball now. Some of them have got full rides in track and field. So it's just a wonderful group.
Some might ask, is this it? Would you walk away at age 76 with a fourth state championship? What would you say?
I get asked that a lot, Randy. I'm not sure.
You get it asked a lot by me too.
This morning, got up early and started working on stuff already. We got to get a billboard up on the street down there on Highway 10, and we've got some awards to order, and I'm not going to turn in my slip this morning anyway. We'll wait and see. There's no, it's not a timeline. It's not a goal. Hey, I've got to win
Right.
450 games and then I'll be satisfied. It's not that. You know that.
Yep.
I think I'll really know when it's time to get out. My community is just amazing to work with, and how they support me and do so many things to make my job easy. My coaching staff is outstanding. They've been with me for, I think, a total of 225 years. That's
Wow.
how many years they've coached with me. So those things kind of keep me going. And no, I'm not resigning this morning.
Well, I wouldn't ask you to resign. I would ask, would you retire from the game? But I don't think that's a possibility. Not at this point.
Not at this point.
Yeah. Hey, congratulations, my friend. What a way to cap off a perfect season with a victory over Totino in the 4A state title game at US Bank. It was fun to watch.
Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Well, just to be honest, we are doing this interview with Coach Spurrell from Maple Grove on Saturday morning. And as you can see, there's no rest for the wicked. He wins a state title on Friday night at US Bank Stadium, and Saturday morning, he's following his daughter for cheer competition in Woodbury. So much for getting some rest, right, Adam? Congratulations to you, first of all.
Yeah, thank you. I did get a tough time from my wife here this morning, though, because I wore my Maple Grove instead of Rogers for her. I figured I better. I have to.
Well, just true transparency. I emailed you last night right after the game. Obviously, you're still celebrating on the field. You emailed me back at 2:51 a.m. and said, "Yes, I can do this." Did you get any sleep? I mean, what's it been like?
Yeah, I woke up about 6:45, so I got about little over 3 hours. But it's been an amazing feeling. Just celebrating with the team last night and with all the coaches, the families. It definitely is a community type program, and so that's where just proud of everybody.
Maple Grove finishes off a perfect season. They beat Minnetonka in the Prep Bowl 28-21. It was a little hairy there at the end. You were up 28-7 with about over 5 minutes to go. Just talk about your team, your seniors. They really stepped up. You just had a great group all season long that just really never let down, never let anything get in the way of what they wanted to accomplish.
Yeah. Starting with seniors, there's 40 kids in there. They're awesome kids. Just the depth that we have even amongst them, because obviously this doesn't get talked about, but our JV went undefeated as well. And so our varsity JV program didn't lose all season long. And that was whether it was 7-on-7 tournaments, it was our fall or team camp that we went to and the competition there. These kids really bought in, and they were awesome. But yeah, our seniors, they're awesome kids, and they're talented. They're great kids in the school. I couldn't be more proud of them, just with their leadership to the junior class, and even our sophomore and freshmen look up to them. And so they've been great. The best part was, though, our junior class right behind them, they almost imitate them as a group as well. We've got a ton of top end talent in the junior class too. And so those two groups melding together the way they did, it makes for a special season. That's for sure.
Was it a little bit weird, strange, surreal to coach with Matt on the other sideline, Matt Lombardi, who, of course, the longtime head coach at Maple Grove and was the D coordinator for Minnetonka? Was it a little bit weird after you won? I mean, just because I know you guys have a great relationship, and it's just been, it's kind of strange how it all turned out.
Oh, for sure. Matt's one of my good friends. And so that's where, again, obviously I felt bad for him last night, just knowing that he was on that side of it. But
right.
Same point, I know he was proud of all of us on our side, just because of the work that he had put in to the program prior to leaving. But yeah, it was an awesome moment. The problem was, though, I didn't get to go find him until all of a sudden I realized where he was, and I went up and gave him a hug, and it was great.
Yeah. You're wearing the shirt, Leave No Doubt.
Yeah.
I saw you in August when I showed up for one of your first practices. That was the slogan. Talk about that. Why did you choose that? And obviously you did exactly what the t-shirt says. You left no doubt.
Yeah. It's kind of two reasons. One is, though, one of my favorite movies is Remember the Titans. And so obviously when he says it's the Leave No Doubt time, that to me just sits with me a lot. And so, and at the same point, I knew this group was going to be something special. And so we wanted to ride it, and sure enough, it was great, because now they're talking, they want to go Left No Doubt, or they want to play in the word Leaf No Doubt. And so we'll come here for it. So
21 new head football coaches in Minnesota this fall. Only one had a winning record, and that was Adam Spurrell, who goes undefeated with Maple Grove. What are you most proud of as you take a deep breath, as you let all of this soak in today? What are you most proud of?
Probably the just overall buy-in from everybody. Because like I said, it's not just our players, it's the parents, the families, the communities. I do truly feel like this was a Crimson state championship, and that is everybody included. And so I love being a Crimson. I love being a part of Maple Grove, and it's an awesome feeling to have us have another championship.
It's also kind of weird. You're a head coach and you've never experienced what it's like to lose as a head coach yet.
Yeah, very true. There's definitely truth to that.
Hopefully that won't come anytime soon.
I know exactly. Yeah, I'm excited about our group next year too. It should be fun.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Get some sleep. You've deserved it. Congratulations on winning the 6A state championship on Friday night. Thanks, Adam.
Yeah. Thank you, Randy.
I was visiting with my friends over at TruStone Financial the other day, and they're just a warm and welcoming group. They're known as the Neighborhood Credit Union, and I think that's the best way to describe them. When I'm at TruStone, I feel like I'm chatting with my neighbors. Combine that personality with a full menu of services and a lot of financial expertise, and you have a winning combination. Whether I need a checking account, a car loan, even a mortgage, I know I'm going to be working with smart, friendly people. With 23 locations in Minnesota and Wisconsin, you're not far from a TruStone neighborhood. Visit a branch near you or learn more at trustone.org. TruStone is an equal housing opportunity lender. Congratulations to 5A state champion Elk River, who beat Alexandria Saturday 33-24. In Class 3A, Stewartville repeats as state champ with a 43-22 victory over Dassel-Cokato. Jackson County Central beat Staples Motley 42-26 to take the Class 2A title. And the 9-player championship goes to Fertile Beltrami in a 20-8 win over Hills Beaver Creek. Now let's meet my Talk North All-State football team for this year. On offense, at quarterback, super sophomore Jet Feeney. This season, Jet threw for over 3,200 yards passing and 48 touchdowns. Yes, just a sophomore. I named 3 running backs, led by Armstrong senior Kevon Johnson, 2,143 yards rushing, 35 touchdowns this season, a fabulous player. Ryan Meagher from Minnesota never lost a game in his last 3 years. He scored 80 rushing touchdowns the past 2 seasons. Fabulous player and teammate. And my third running back is Isaiah Wright of Fertile Beltrami, who finished his career with over 6,200 all-purpose yards and over 100 career touchdowns. Just a great player. Edina's senior receiver, Maher Sweeney, makes my team. 80 catches, 1,263 yards, 17 touchdowns. He's going to play college football for California. My other receiver is Stewartville senior Parker Wangan. 70 catches, 1,173 yards, and 21 touchdowns this fall. He is Stewartville's all-time leading scorer in football. I chose 2 athletes, all-purpose greats. Cam Hungerholt of Leroy Ostrander led the state in rushing with over 2,800 yards and 5,267 all-purpose yards this season, a new state record. Cam is the 4th leading rusher all-time in Minnesota. And junior sensation Roman Voss of Jackson County Central, considered the top junior football player in the state, incredible athlete and competitor. Our Talk North All-State offensive line is led by Gavin Wang of Annandale. He's headed to NDSU on scholarship. I chose 3 others. Michael Wagner of Maple Grove, 6'6", 260, heading to North Dakota. Luke Pappas of Armstrong, a 4-year starter for the Falcons. And Hank Meyer of Kimball is up for Mr. Football in Minnesota. Our Talk North All-State kicker is a future Gopher, Daniel Jackson of Alexandria. He has a powerful leg, very accurate. He'll be fun to watch at the U. On defense, our Talk North All-State team is led by Howie Johnson of Forest Lake, just a junior, but the future Gopher led Minnesota in tackles for losses with 32 this fall. Stewartville's Grayson Schneider, Great player at 6'3", 255, headed to Montana State. Byron senior defensive end Colin Hansen headed to the Gophers on scholarship, big-time player. And rounding out our defensive line are Max Coles, a senior out of Shakopee, 80 tackles, 14 for losses, and Parker Johnson of Kingsland finished the season with 18 sacks, 28 tackles for losses, and 95 total tackles. Maple Grove's Jacob Urbanek leads my All-State linebackers. Great player, incredible nose for the football. 3 more linebackers make our Talk North team. Gopher commit Emmanuel Carmo out of Cooper. Chase Evink of Hancock is a 5-year starter, all-around fabulous player, headed to NDSU. And Dylan Hudgens led Minnetonka to the Prep Bowl this fall. Great tackler and leader. Our All-State secondary is led by Ricori's great athlete, Grant Tyluki, 106 tackles this season. The rest of the D-backs include Nolan Ginsky of Owatonna with 10 interceptions this fall, Evan Clute, star player for Alexandria, and Dylan Vocal of Maple Grove headed to NDSU on scholarship. Congratulations to our Talk North All-State football team for 2024. Well, he was a Maryland All-State football player in high school back in the day, and now he's a Pro Bowler in the NFL, who never really thought this was how his professional life would turn out. Well, Vikings Pro Bowl long snapper Andrew Depaola's journey, his football journey is still going, but it is a testament, I think, to hard work and perseverance that you are in the position that you're in right now. First of all, thanks for doing this. We'll talk about the Vikings in a minute, but take me back to high school football in Maryland, because you decide to play football your freshman year. What made you decide freshman year you were going to play football?
Well, honestly, I had a bunch of friends doing it. And our high school team was really good, actually. So I figured, why not give it a shot? I had a decent arm for playing quarterback. So I figured, what's the worst that can happen? Let's just roll with it and see where this thing goes. And yeah, I'm really glad I did.
So you make varsity as a sophomore. Were you a quarterback at that time? What position did you play?
Quarterback. Yeah, quarterback. Yeah.
So you were the starting QB for 3 years in high school.
Yep.
How did that go? Because you won a state title your sophomore year, right?
Yeah. We won a state title my sophomore year, got back to states my senior year, and unfortunately lost. But it's funny. So my sophomore year, I get pulled up to varsity, and it's like there was no big announcement or like someone telling me like, hey, you're coming up to varsity. They were like, hey, do you want to come to varsity camp? And I was like, sure, I'll go to varsity camp. Like, why not? I thought everyone did. And then, fall camp came around and they're like, all right, JV over here, varsity over here. And I'm walking towards JV and they're like, no. Where are you going? Oh, you're going to varsity. I was like, oh, all right. So I went over there, and then I didn't even know I was starting until the day before the first game.
Oh, come on. Really?
I swear. I was taking the reps with the ones, but like I was taking all the reps. I took the ones, the twos. I took the scout
that's
team.
like a clear indication, isn't it?
Yeah, but not like I was the only quarterback, but like I was taking scout team reps. I was doing all that. And so then, the night before the game, it was our practice, like a little walkthrough. And I remember I was talking to my assistant coach, being like, yeah, man, like how many plays do you think, I'm going to get tomorrow night, if any? And he was like, buddy, where you been the last 3 weeks? Like, you're the starter. And I was just like, oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
That's cool. So yeah, I'll never forget that moment, because it was just kind of like looking back, like you said, it was kind of like, duh, like, yeah, you're the starter. But yeah, I had no idea until the night before the first game.
So during high school, did you long snap in high school at all?
So funny enough, I actually long snapped that sophomore year.
You did? I
did. Yeah. So I just could do it. And they were like, hey, we need a guy to do it for punts. I didn't do it for field goals.
Okay.
So I did it for punts. And then I didn't do it my senior year.
So even as a quarterback, as a sophomore, you were long snapping.
Yep.
Yeah. So you end up going to Rutgers. You walk on at Rutgers to play football. You kind of bounce around positions for a little bit, but you don't, from what I understand, you don't pick up long snapping again until your 4th year. at Rutgers because they needed someone. Did you just like raise your hand and say, "Hey, I did this in high school," or what happened?
Actually, that's not far off. Yeah, like our special teams coach, Darren Rizzi at the time, who is the special teams coach for the New Orleans Saints, he was like, "Hey, if anyone can long snap, stick around after practice." And so I was like, "I think I can do that. Why not?" And I did it a couple times. He came over to watch me, gave me some pointers, gave me some different things to try, and was like, "All right, just do a couple of these every day after practice." I said, "All right, sure, why not?" And so then, my fourth year rolls around, and I did it a little more. I was getting a little better at it. But then, unfortunately, during the season, our starter went down. That's why I had to jump in. And then the rest is kind of history from there.
Were you good at it from the beginning, or did it take a lot of effort on your part to get better at it? Because
So
obviously right now you're at the highest level you can be, but I mean, during the process of getting to this point, did
Right.
you struggle a little bit?
So the natural ability was there to throw between my legs. I think the finer points of snapping took me a while to kind of get. There was a lot of time going in our indoor practice facility or like in our weight room because Rutgers has like a 50-yard artificial turf track in their weight room. Going on that thing, snapping, trying different things, trying to look snap, trying to no look snap, trying to snap and get my head up as quick as I can to set back and block. Many, many, many years of just trial and error, I'll say.
So you end up in the NFL,
Mm-hmm.
undrafted. You decide that you're going to go the route of being a long snapper. You make a few teams, you get cut a few times. I mean, at what point did you say, or did you say at one point, this is it. I'm done. I got a family. I got, this is not working. Was there a point?
So early on, before I had really any obligations, like a family and a wife and kids, I kind of like after I got cut for like the second or third time, I was just kind of like, do I keep doing this? Like, do I keep trying? What is the end goal here? Obviously to make the team, but like, what's the fallback plan? And I remember talking with my family and my sister. She was like, "Why would you stop? Like, why would you?" And I was like, "What?" She's like, "What?" She's like, "What are you gonna do? Like, seriously, what are you gonna do?" I was like, "Okay, good. Yeah, good point. Like, I might as well keep trying." So I gave it another try, and funny enough, that's the year I finally made it in with the Bucks. And then, down the road, I think. So what happened? I tore my ACL in 2018 with the Raiders. Got cut in 2019. I only had 2 workouts in 2019. 2020, I didn't really hear anything from any teams. I think the whole like what next sort of creeps in. Like, okay, I haven't played since 2018 when I got hurt. Teams haven't been calling. Like, what do I do next? So, luckily, it's not that difficult to stay in shape to be a long snapper. So, I started some other ventures and kind of got those things going, but I always stayed in shape and ready to go. And you can ask my wife. I had a bag packed 24/7 as my go bag in case I got the call. I left that by the front door and
That's hilarious.
Got a couple workouts that year and then finally got one with the Vikings and stuck.
Sometimes it just takes the right team, right? Sometimes it just takes the right situation with the right team. And it seems like the Vikings are the right team and the right situation. You've been a Pro Bowl guy the last couple of years. Did you ever imagine when this all started that you would end up being a Pro Bowl guy in the NFL, long snapping the football?
I honestly, I can't say that I did. No, because when I started, long snapper wasn't a position in the Pro Bowl. It was a coach's pick.
Right.
So the coach would pick the snapper for his. So, I was either like, I got to become best friends with the head coach, or I got to be in the league long enough to where they feel sorry for me and say, all right, we're going to take this guy to the Pro Bowl. So, no, I never really thought that I was going to be a Pro Bowl guy, but here we are.
It's crazy how life has turned out for you in this way. Best advice you ever got from a high school coach or a mentor or someone when you were young that has stuck with you all this time?
Yeah. The best advice I ever got from a high school coach was don't listen to people who aren't in the position that you want to be in. Because I was going to camps as a high schooler, and being told like who I was and where my ceiling was and how good I could be. And as a kid, being very impressionable, you hear that and you're kind of like, wow, like that's all I am. Like I'm a,
Right.
Division 2, Division 3, maybe I get some playing time here or there kind of player. And sure, as athletes, I think maybe it hits your ego a little bit, your pride. And, I remember talking with one of my coaches about that, and I just kind of casually mentioned it. Like, well, I mean, it's cool. I'll probably be a D2, D3 quarterback, maybe on the bench and get in, here and there. And he was like, why are you listening to people who aren't where you want to be, who've never been there?
Hmm.
And that kind of hit me like, well, I guess that kind of makes sense. So, and I think the next thing I learned later in life was, people that are in that position are never going to put you down. They'll encourage you. It's people that have never been there, never done those things, who are the ones that are going to bring you down, because, I think unfortunately people think that if they can't do it, then no one else should. But, like I said, again, yeah, that one little piece of advice stuck with me, and I've kind of taken that with me, till today.
And so here you are now, what, 4 kids at home,
Yeah.
a bagel shop in Maryland, still long snapping in the NFL. What does the future look like for you post football, now that you are older and that there will come a time when you will have to walk away?
Of course. Yeah. I think that's the one thing we all can't beat is father time, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think once I'm finished, I think I'm going to dive into the bagel shop a little bit harder and see where we can go with that, and then just kind of see where life takes me from there. I really want to dive in and get involved in what my kids are doing. I really want to be as heavily involved in their lives as I can. If they're in the sports, great. I'll have a lot of good coaching points for them. And if not, maybe I can learn from them some of their things that they're into. So, when this ride is all said and done, and I don't think it's going to be done for a couple more years, but when that is the case, I'm really looking forward to that next phase of life. I think it's going to be fun.
All right. So my last question, and I've thought about this a lot. What is a typical day for a long snapper at practice at the Vikings facility?
Oh, man, I wish you didn't ask me that question. I think people are going to be like, he doesn't do anything. Yeah, no. So Wednesdays, so it depends on the day, right? We have different practices for different days. So Wednesdays are a little bit lighter. We kind of kick and punt on our own. We do our own thing, and then we just kind of work on some little things during practice. We try and get it in as early as we can so we can kind of relax for the rest of practice.
It's not like busy work, right? You're not like trying to make yourself look busy or anything, are you?
Not anymore. There were times and there were teams where I would do that, but not anymore. If a coach wants to question what I'm doing, I'm just like, hey man, turn on the tape. Like I think it speaks for itself.
Yeah.
But so we'll try and finish up a little bit early, and then we like to watch practice. Thursdays is our heavy day, so we'll do team punt on Thursday. So I'll get ready for that, and then after we do team punt, we'll go hit some more punts on our own, some more situational stuff. And then Fridays we don't punt, but we do field goals. So we'll do like a big field goal session with Will. He'll get in the kicks that he wants to get in. If he wants to hit any kickoffs, any special kicks like that, we'll work on those things, some situational stuff. And then we're done. We may pick like a stupid little game to play, like throw it into the trash can, or let's see, you can kick it with the farthest roll, stuff like that, just to kind of stay a little competitive, but to kind of keep it fun at the same time. And that's really about it.
It sounds like a great job.
It's not bad. I'll admit it's not bad.
Andrew, thanks so much for doing this. I appreciate it. Thank you, and good luck the rest of the way. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Randy. Appreciate it.
You bet. We all have go-tos, right? Well, mine is Culvers, and all you have to do is look at my social media for proof. I eat at Culvers almost every day, and I love matching my order number to a star athlete. But more than anything else, I love the food. It's fresh, it's delicious, and it's comfort. I feel good after stopping at Culvers. The people are friendly, the food is made to order, and it just makes me happy, truly. So if you're looking for your go-to, I have a recommendation. Culvers. And our Culvers Player of the Week is number 6, Grant Frecking, junior quarterback, Jackson County Central. He threw 3 touchdown passes, 212 yards total in JCC's state championship win over Staples Motley. Congratulations to Grant. Next week on this show, we look ahead to the early signing day for college football. And college football writer Randy Johnson of the Minnesota Star-Tribune will join me. Plus, future Gopher Abu Tarawali will also join me, Abu out of Providence Academy, and a player who's leaving Minnesota for the West Coast in college football, Edina's great receiver, Maher Sweeney. For producer Alex Haugen and the great folks here at Talk North, thanks for watching and listening, and we'll see you next week.